In 1914, American sailors aimed their cannons through iron sights and navigated by stars. Today, a U.S. Navy destroyer can intercept a hypersonic missile 400 kilometers away without a single human pulling a trigger. This is every major warship, the most powerful navy in history ever built, and how each one made the last obsolete. USS Connecticut, battleship, 1906, 16,000 tons, 4 12-inch guns, 18 knots, 11 inches of steel armor. The doctrine is simple. Biggest ship, thickest guns, wins. No electronics, no radar. The commanding officer runs the ship from a wooden bridge. The American Navy enters the 20th century with this machine. It is the best in the world at what it does. The problem is that what it does is about to become irrelevant. USS Nevada, battleship, 1916, 30,000 tons, 14-inch guns. The innovation isn't the size, it's the armor philosophy. All or nothing. Critical zones get maximum protection, everything else gets none. A shell that hits an unprotected section doesn't sink the ship. Only one that hits the vitals does. The Nevada takes a torpedo at Pearl Harbor, is deliberately grounded, refloated, and fires its guns on the beaches of Normandy in 1944. No previous battleship survives that arc. USS Langley, aircraft carrier, 1922, 11,000 tons, converted from a coal collier, 34 aircraft, 15 knots, a floating laboratory where naval pilots learn to take off from a ship, and harder still, land on one. Awkward, slow, and limited. Also the most important ship the American Navy has built to that point because it proves the concept works. Everything that comes after starts here. USS Lexington, aircraft carrier, 1927, 36,000 tons, 120 aircraft, 33 knots, still carries 8-inch gun. Turrets, because nobody is confident a carrier can defend itself with aircraft alone. Those guns never fire in real combat. The lesson is learned. A carrier doesn't defend itself with artillery. It defends itself by eliminating the enemy before he arrives. USS Essex, aircraft carrier, 1943, 27,000 tons, 100 aircraft, built with the hard lessons of 2 years of Pacific combat, armored hangar, integrated air search radar. 24 are built, one every 3 months, the largest production run of fleet carriers in history. The Essex defines what a fleet carrier is for 30 years. USS Gatto, submarine, 1941, 1,500 tons surfaced, 10 torpedo tubes, 75-day patrols. The early torpedoes are defective and failed consistently for the first 2 years of the war. Once fixed, the Gatto class and its derivatives sink 55% of Japan's merchant tonnage. Japan loses the war partly because its supply ships stop arriving. No aircraft, no battleship, no surface battle decides that. These silent submerged ships do. USS Nautilus, nuclear attack submarine, 1954, 4,000 tons submerged, nuclear propulsion, no need to surface to recharge, no endurance limit except the crew's food supply, 23 knots submerged, crosses the North Pole under Arctic ice in 1958. Nuclear propulsion doesn't improve the submarine. It transforms it into something fundamentally different. A battery submarine is a surface ship that can temporarily submerge. A nuclear submarine is a permanent inhabitant of the deep ocean that occasionally comes up. USS George Washington, ballistic missile submarine, 1959, 6,500 tons submerged, 16 Polaris nuclear missiles, 1,200-mile range, a weapon that can destroy 16 cities from any point in the ocean without anyone knowing where it is. Deterrence no longer depends on land bases that can be destroyed in a first strike. It lives on the ocean floor, invisible, permanent, invulnerable. These submarines are the reason the Cold War never becomes a hot one, not diplomacy. These ships, USS Enterprise, nuclear aircraft carrier, 1961, 93,000 tons, 85 aircraft, 8 nuclear reactors, 33 knots indefinitely without refueling. No funnel stack, freeing space for more aircraft and fuel. The angled flight deck allows simultaneous launch and recovery operations. 51 years of service, the longest of any American combat ship. USS Ticonderoga, cruiser, 1983, 9,500 tons. The Aegis system, The SPY-1 radar tracks 200 targets simultaneously at 500 kilometers, 122 vertical launch cells. The Ticonderoga isn't a ship with a weapons system. It's a weapons system that floats. It manages the air defense of an entire battle group from its combat information center. When a carrier strike group sails, the Ticonderoga is the brain. USS Arleigh Burke, destroyer, 1991, 9,300 tons, full Aegis, 96 vertical launch cells, Tomahawks, SM-2, SM-6, anti-submarine rockets, 31 knots, a hull designed to reduce radar cross-section, no aluminum in the superstructure, only steel, after HMS Sheffield burned in the Falklands. So capable and so adaptable that the Navy is still ordering them in 2024. More than 90 in service. The most successful warship design in modern naval history, USS Virginia, attack submarine, 2004, 7,800 tons submerged, 12 Tomahawk missiles plus 4 torpedo tubes, no physical periscope, digital cameras instead of optics, a reconfigurable payload module. For special operations, unmanned vehicles, or mines, 2 delivered per year. The backbone of American submarine power through 2050 and likely beyond. USS Gerald R. Ford, aircraft carrier, 2017, 100,000 tons, 75 aircraft and drones, triple the electrical output of the previous Nimitz class, electromagnetic catapults that adjust launch energy for any aircraft, built-in capacity for high-energy lasers, $13 billion, twice the daily combat sorties of a Nimitz, designed to survive in an ocean where China has ballistic missiles built specifically to sink it. USNS Sea Hunter, unmanned surface vessel, 2016, 40 meters, 0 crew, 90 days autonomous, trails submarines for weeks without losing contact, $15,000 a day to operate versus $500,000 for a destroyer. Already deployed in the Pacific, not the future. The present, by 2035 to 2050. What comes next? The SSN-X replaces the Virginia from 2040, faster, quieter, designed to control swarms of unmanned submarines from within. The Orca unmanned undersea vehicle enters production this decade, 60 tons, months of autonomous operation, a tenth of 1% the cost of a Virginia. High-energy lasers become the standard point defense weapon on every Burke by 2040. Cost per shot, dollars of electricity. The price asymmetry that made large ships vulnerable to cheap missile swarms gets permanently reversed. From the USS Connecticut to the next carrier still on the drawing board. From a 12-inch gun aimed by eye to a laser burning missiles at the speed of light. From a sailor calculating position by stars to an algorithm coordinating 100 autonomous platforms across 3 dimensions at once. Every generation exists because the one before it became vulnerable. Armor, range, depth, stealth, autonomy, and the next step is already being tested in waters whose coordinates are not published.